This is a Season of Discovery Phase 3 Rogue Guide. I'm gonna be covering my build, including talents, gear, runes, and rotations at the end. I will be sectioning this video down below for those who want to skip through. This time I'm gonna also show you guys the V-colors that I use. They're gonna be in the Discord down below for those who want to download them and use them for themselves. Firstly, this is not mandatory to have in any way. It's just what I like to use. It's a Shuriken Toss indicator with combat potency tracker and the BF on top of the nameplates. Second, I have the consumable bag check. It just shows me what I have to get, and it's also customizable for those who want to just change it out for later. My chest of raid Vicoras is Fudgies. You can go ahead and download that in their Discord. I'm gonna link it below. I have also this reminder of consumables and buffs. It's also customizable. You can choose whatever you want, and you can just change it for Horde and Alliance maybe, since you don't use blessings. My rogue Vicora that I use on the middle of the screen is Quasis. He has a YouTube video about this one, but I've changed it to have decay and all the phase 3 consumables and buffs that you can proc. I'm gonna link this down below, but you guys should be using his Vicora anyways. I also have this debuff tracker for the raid. This is not really mandatory to have as a rogue DPS. I'm mainly showcasing this for a raid leader perspective, because I have to make sure that these are actually up. These are insane high DPS increases, such as the Venom debuff from the raid itself, and all the other things. I also have these trinket procs tracker and the gear cooldowns. This is a not needed one, but if you wanna just always have the cooldowns on the screen and see when you wanna use them, it's a really nice one. Well, that's it for the Vicaras and add-ons. I don't have much to use. You guys shouldn't be using a lot of these anyways. If you're gonna just be DPSing as a normal player in the raids, I recommend just going as minimal as possible and not have too much on your screen. But that's all. I'm gonna be moving on to the gear now. Alright, so there is two ways of gearing your character. The first one is auction house spec, which you will go to the auction house and swipe. There's a lot of items that increase your DPS by a lot, including Julie's dagger because it's the fastest dagger in the game. This boomstick weapon, which has the highest IG. The two Darkmoon card trinkets are insanely good. I will recommend using them if you can afford them. If you can't, there is another option which has around 90 DPS less, but it's all from the raid and dungeons. And reputations, of course. You have to get exalted with Emerald Wardens for this trinket right here. I believe this might be a DPS increase on very short-term fights. I haven't tested it yet because I don't have it, and I'm not really gonna use it. But yeah, you can go ahead and check that out. For bracers, we have the engineering ones now. These are not that insane. If you don't have engineering at the moment, just go ahead and take the Wars and Goals ones. But other than that, there is no other option in the game. We have shoulders now from the tailoring, leatherworking, and all the other professions with shoulder enchants. These are kind of expensive on the launch, but I believe 2 weeks in they're gonna be very cheap now, so everyone can afford them. Do keep in mind that the proc from this shoulder does not stack in any way with the helm or the gloves from engineering, so don't overstack them. You want to keep the helm on pulls for the shoulder to be off and then use it. For the belt option, this is the best in slot for all classes most likely, but if you can use this as an active for the 3% crit, you should be using it before the pulls. And if it doesn't give you 3% crit, swap it out back to this one. Rune wise, for the moment at least, I'm using this because it's just a lot of DPS increase if I open on the bosses with a Garrote and keep my Rupture up on the boss. If you want to be just a casual rogue, constantly pressing the same button the whole fight, which is Eviscerate and then Venom, you can just go ahead and use this, but this is a straight up DPS increase if you do your rotation correctly. For the hand rune, these two are absolute trash. You don't use them in any way. This is a DPS increase flat out. It will always give you DPS over RNG. For the other runes, you can use the same thing and you never change them. Consumable wise, we have a lot more to use now, such as the grilled squid. We have the new Winterfell Firewaters. We have Mongoose, which is an insane DPS increase for rogues. We have Elixir of Giants. We also have the new flask from the raid itself. I still use this item from phase 1. It's only +1 stats. It's not insane or in any way, but it is a DPS increase. I still use my Bugling Roots because they are actually DPS increase, so it's not a huge DPS, but if you want to min-max, you should be using this. For the elixirs, I am unaware and not sure if these actually work, but there is a lot of spell power elixirs such as Shadow Power, Greater Arcane Elixir, and Fire Power, which could enhance, items such as Decay, Sandstorm, and maybe your Sappers, Oil of Immolation, and Chili. Like, all of these could be enhanced, but I don't know yet. If you can confirm down below in the comments, go ahead and do that. That would be nice. You could save a lot of gold from us if you know that it doesn't work. Or if it works, then this is a big DPS increase. For the debuffs and buffs on the targets, you have to have engineering for chicken. This is a must-have. You cannot skip out on this because whenever you have 5 of these, your DPS randomly increases by 300. It's that easy. For ward buffs, it's the same 3 for the moment at least. You have to have SF, it's a big DPS increase, and DMF of course. And debuffs here. At the moment, I'm sure there's a lot of rogues who are not a fan of exposing because they know that Homuncula is in the game, but this item, or debuff, is not the maximum debuff that you can apply to the bosses right now, because this is counted as level 60 and we are 50 right now. So Expose Armor is 200 more armor debuff, which is the best DPS you can have. But if you know that your raid is gonna have maybe like 5 DPS, then you can skip out on this and just go Homunculi, because if there is only 5 melees, the DPS increase your raid gets is not that big. But for now, since I'm gonna be playing with 15 other melees, I have to slap this on and just expose for them. The bleed debuff is not a big deal, it's only for your rupture, so it's nice kind of. This item right here is the most important thing to have in the raids, because this is all around your poisons and their damage. So if you have this dropped, make sure to have it on all bosses and do not allow the player to actually swap out on the weapon. Gift of Arthas is a very nice debuff that the tank applies to the boss by just having a potion or an elixir. I don't know if this works yet. I'm just, having it in the sims. Maybe it worked, maybe it doesn't. We haven't applied it to a boss yet because we forgot last raid, but you can have it in your raids and check it out. Dream State is a very random debuff. It's just all about if the bombkin crits or not, but it is a DPS increase for the rogues. Everything else should be applied by others instantly anyways, so I'm not going to talk about them. For talents, you have the normal talents build. You're going to have the 5 opportunity because this is insane, and it works on Mutilate regardless of being behind or in front of the target. Backstab is very nice to have 30% crit on it because it works on Mutilate of course. And then right here we have Seal Fate. There is some people who actually go 5 point in this because they want the maximum chance to practice, but it is not a huge deal. You can just have 2 points in it and you're fine. But there is multiple specs that you can play at the moment if you want to be a full support rogue and actually be useful in the raid rather than just being a DPS. So I just removed 2 talent points from Lethality and go on Expose Armor. The Expose rotation is actually really rough for a rogue. I believe you can't actually go Carnage if you're going to be exposing unless the fight is really short. But if you are going to be exposing, just give Honor Among Thieves a try. I don't think if it's actually good in any way, but it does make your rotation easier with Carnage, that's for sure. Because I've tried using Carnage and combat potency while exposing, and it did seem like if there is any error by me, I'm gonna have a huge DPS loss and a drop in my DPS. Also, just keep in mind that if you actually check the timeline in rotations and results after simming something, the sims are insanely good and helpful towards your DPS because they show you how the AI is playing here. So if you just check this out, you realize that the AI actually opens with a growth on the target, which most rogue players never do. So this is a really nice one to actually check out and see how it plays out, because as you can see, it just says that like the scorch happened around like 3 seconds in on 3 stacks, and the sapper happened here. I don't know if it actually does enhance sapper, but it just shows that how the AI is playing out and how it's proccing SNDs or doing this and that. So you can just have an idea of how you play with Carnage. Because it does get hard if you're gonna be constantly rupturing and exposing all the time. But as I said, not a lot of rogues are gonna be exposing anyways, so if you're not be doing that, then rupture is the way and it's gonna be a lot of DPS increase. Do not play with cut to the chase, it's just a meme. You're gonna be literally pressing the same button for the whole raid, and it's just not gonna be fun. And no engagement is gonna be happening there. Alright, so for the boss fights, generally how you wanna start on pulls is you're gonna use the belt, fish for the 3% crit, and if it doesn't happen, go back to your normal belt, get an add to get 5 combo points on it. If you're gonna expose, then get the redirect up and be ready to go behind the boss to garrote into expose. If you're not doing that, then get the 5 combo points for the slice and dice, and do the same thing kind of as a non-exposing rogue, but I don't think if garrote is actually a good idea because it does, cost a lot of energy, so maybe don't do that. But you can check it out yourselves and just see what plays better for you. For the troll bosses, sadly we can't really get 5 combo points before the boss fight if we want to invis. Remember, using invis before the pulls is a really huge DPS increase. And if you know that you can't reach the boss fast enough, just shadow step behind it. Do not waste any seconds walking up to the boss as a rogue. And I usually don't expose towards the end of a kill. I just let the homunculi happen so I can do some mutilates myself, because it is a more DPS increase for the raid. It's only 200 armor after all, and me doing a 4k mutilate or envenom is a bigger DPS increase. Whenever Skull dies here, I just redirect all the combo points I had to instantly expose the off target whenever it's applied or it can be hit. Just make sure that your warlocks, druids and all of the other classes actually do apply the debuffs, because it all works towards your poison damage. Rogue right now is poison damage and only that. You want to have a boomkin, you want to have the fist weapon, and just anything that enhances your poison. It's really important to have that. Just keep in mind during the fights, whenever your shoulder and flask proc, you instantly want to vanish right there. So right here, I just completely forgot about vanishing. I didn't remember it, because we were doing the fight for the first time after it got revamped. So I wasn't aware of cooldowning and everything properly. As you can see, I just kept my helm and gloves for the next boss and didn't use it here. Alright, so for Morphaz, this boss fight has been very fast in the recent kills, because people are one-shotting the whole Lucid Dream phase and just killing the boss down below in maybe 15 seconds or less. And that's how we're gonna do it here on this VOD as well. What I always do is I just redirect off an ad before the boss fight. Maybe get some chicken procs before the pulls, depending on what your guild wants to do on the boss. And just open with a 5-point expose armor, because it is a huge DPS increase for my raid. And anytime I get to garrote before a boss is pulled, that's my priority. Like basically just always proc having Carnage up before you mutilate or envenom, because those will be enhanced by 20% DPS increase. Whenever the Lucid Dream boss is active, redirect any combo points you have on the current boss, shadow step the darker one, and just instantly pop your cooldowns on it. Right here, I actually got very lucky with shoulder procs. They all happened at the same time, and I just blasted the boss. I got a 8k in Venom right there, that's insane. For Shade of Veronicas, all you gotta do is do the same thing with Expose, and if you're not doing that, then get the 5 combo point Slice and Dice. I've seen some rogues play with improved Slice and Dice in the talents. It is probably a better way of playing, but I think if you're gonna expose, you should be playing with Honor Monk Thieves and not Combat Potency. But I can't really say for sure yet, I haven't played it myself. But I will let you guys know in a comment or maybe a new video later if Honor Among Thieves is the play for exposing or not. But here, as you can see, I get 2 combo points or 2 mutilates on the mob and instantly redirect all the combo points into the boss. So before he wakes up, I have my expose up and I can rupture it right away whenever I can. Remember, snapshotting has always been a thing for rogues. Maybe some of you are unaware, but whenever you have AP procs or anything like that, deadly poison, your rupture and everything else is gonna be snapshotted by that. That means whenever you have procs and rupture is, let's say, falling off soon, that rupture cannot be reapplied until it's actually off. So do not try to reapply it and waste your combo points or your GCDs. You cannot reapply that rupture. So just let it drop, do your normal rotation with envenoms and just reapply it after. I would recommend actually having 2 rogues in the raids and not, force the same rogue doing carnage, expose and everything at the same time. I just tried it here for fun to see how it feels, and it was awful. It's unplayable almost to expose and rupture and everything. But I made it work. I got some 99s in that raid. Wasn't that bad at all. But that's it for today's video. I hope you guys liked it, and let me know in the comment below if you actually got some big DPS increase out of this video. If you want to support the channel, make sure to subscribe and like the video. Share it to your friends. Maybe they are bad rogues and could improve with this video right here. And I will see you guys in the next video.